Well, here we are on day 21, a day that I've been looking forward to getting to, and I hope that in your enjoyment and of the program itself that you remain committed. You know, 21 days was no figment of anyone's imagination, because psychological studies down through the years have just gone on to show that it takes approximately 21 days for someone to develop a habit. It takes about 21 days for someone to focus in long enough until it becomes imprinted, to use psychological terminology, to become imprinted in the human psyche, enough for me to continue to remember. Now, the habit that I've wanted you to remember down through this entire program is the habit of accountability. The willingness on your part to allow other people to hold you accountable. And the responsibility on your part, should you be in that position in life, to influence other people, to hold them accountable. It's a dual responsibility. The habit of accountability will change your life. The habit of understanding what it takes to bring us into this new opportunity for freedom comes whenever we are willing to be held accountable and accept the responsibility of holding other people accountable. Over the 21 days, at the end of each day, we've provided you with an exercise, an opportunity to develop and to grow and to mature as you journey along, learning the different things that have been taught. The analogy that we created was that of a house. Frankly, I'm looking out of the same window now at the same front lawns that we talked about, the killing fields. I think of those 4 killing fields, and in my own mind I begin to recognize that we're still dealing with, indeed, the chaos of human nature. The chaos of your own human nature at this particular moment is to finish the program, put it on the shelf, and just sort of leave it, and to continue to gravitate to the line of least resistance. Please don't do that. Be sure to recognize the lack of accountability that seems to be in every one of our lives. And then the next killing field, of course, was the self-image. That incredible curse that happens to those who have not learned to understand how to overcome a negative self-image. And then our blind spots. Then we went from the front lawns, if you remember, and we began to peer inside the windows of the home. We began to recognize that the windows were the attitudes, things that we could look out and see the world, and the world could look in and see us. We needed the attitudes of finishing, the attitude of coping, the attitude of the willingness to be taught, the willingness to work hard, to recognize goals and priorities for what they were, and then to tune out the voices of mediocrity. Attitudinally, as we begin to clean the windows of that perception that we have of the world begins to perceive us in a positive, attitudinal kind of way. They begin to respect, they begin to give opportunity, they begin to see that we have the potential for greatness, and they begin to give us opportunities to do it. We see the world through the window of our attitude, and we perceive positive things. It doesn't mean we don't see negative things. It does mean we see positive things. It means we get excited about the world. We get excited about opportunity. We get concerned about those who are negative, but we ourselves are learning because we've tuned out the voices of mediocrity. And then we went down through the various rooms of the home, the skills. We began to recognize how to handle interpersonal conflict. We went into the room next door to it, and how to avoid all stress. From there we learned in that happy family room how to motivate others and how to inspire them and how to motivate ourselves. And then we went into the little dark room where there were plans on the wall and things that for us to do. That's where we learned all about time management, if I only had the time. And then in a couple of rooms that were adjoining, we learned how to have a great memory. We learned how to put things into memory, how to recall them, how to equip ourselves to be able to listen to people and to fill our minds with what they're saying and remembering it in such a way. We learned how to memorize books. We learned how to memorize thoughts. We learned how to equip ourselves for greatness, and we carried that into the examinations. We taught our young people. We taught our family. We taught ourselves how to increase our grades, how to get the respect from others that it comes by getting A's rather than C's or D's. From there we learned the 5 steps on solving any problem. The next room that we went into, the room that we all really want to be a part of, and that's financial freedom. Gosh, we want financial freedom. We need our independence. We learned about debt. We learned the dangers of debt. We learned the common mistakes that are made by most people. Just principles. And in those principles, I encourage you to go out and get involved in other people's programs. This is just a thought to get you involved in developing the skill that will lead you to financial freedom. Then we talked about the qualities of leadership. We talked about those qualities essential and that are found in the great people of the world, those who were given the responsibility to lead others. And that brings us up to this final room that we're going to spend a little moment in. How to remain positive in a negative world. I want you to think of everything, and the reason that I have reviewed it, I want you to think of everything that we've covered over the last 20 days. Actually 21 when you think about the introduction. Over these last 21 days of your life, you've been involved in exercises and thoughts and skills and just changing your attitude and seeing the world the way that it really is and putting life in perspective. I want you to remain positive. Because the world that you're going to continue to engage in, the world that you're going to encounter, is a world full of negative people. 80% of the people you're going to find and talk to are dissatisfied with something. They're going to find the problem rather than the opportunity. They're going to see it as pandemonium in their lives, and they're not going to be able to recognize that there's blue sky above the clouds, and you're going to know that. You're going to see it because you've already accomplished it over the last 20 days. And you're going to be able to do it because, in fact, you're going to learn how to remain positive in a negative world. There are 3 abilities that you have to learn. The 3 final abilities that I want to teach you are the abilities of how to remain positive in a negative world, knowing that there's going to be problems cross your path, there are going to be circumstances that are going to discourage you, but how are you going to remain positive? 3 abilities. Ability number 1 is the ability to take and maintain a definite direction. Now, the easiest part of that ability is the ability to take. The easiest thing in the world is to decide what I'm going to accomplish by the end of this year. No doubt in my mind, I can give you a long-range objective as to what I'm going to accomplish by the end of the next 3 years. Long-range objectives are fun. I love it. I love flying up into the ethereal wonderland of long-range planning. I'll tell you the most difficult thing is to maintain it. Because the most difficult thing for me to do is to decide what I'm going to do this afternoon to help accomplish my long-range goals. Taking the goal is easy. Maintaining it is difficult. Oh, how difficult it is to keep your eye on a goal when rabbits cross the path. The rabbit of opportunity. Oh, my goodness, how many rabbits have I chased? I've chased lots of rabbits. Frankly, it's not often that I've sat down to rabbit stew. Rabbits have taken me into the bramble bushes and into the thorns and have taken me off the pathway of my goal because it always looks like it's an opportunity. Folks, let me tell you something. One of the ways that you delayed decision-making and one of the ways that each of us lose sight of our goal is because we're unwilling to say no even to a big rabbit that looks so delicious. Maintaining is difficult. And the reason we have difficulty maintaining is because we have not clearly defined our goal. The reason a lot of college students remain frustrated in college is because they have not chosen the long-range goal of who they want to be, what they want to be sometime in the future. I tell you, it's the pre-med student who is in his first or second year of college who knows exactly what he wants to be. Although the courses are eminently one of the most difficult courses in all of college, he can find his way through. She can plow her way through because she's got a long-range goal and it is clearly defined. It is so clearly defined that step by step along the way is the only way they're going to make it. Because you've got to know that a clearly defined goal is a measurable objective. It can be decided whether we're doing it on a daily basis. I live in Florida. Some of my family live in Toronto, Canada. I have a map, a routing along the way that takes me to Toronto. When we get in our car, pull out of our driveway in Florida, make our way onto Highway 75, Interstate 75 drives all the way up through the states of Georgia and Tennessee and Kentucky and Ohio and Michigan, and finally through Detroit. We cross the Peace Bridge onto Highway 401, drive along 401 all the way into the outskirts of Toronto. Now the long-range goal is to get to Toronto. But I got to follow the road map. I've got to be able to take it inch by inch, road by road, intersection by intersection, and measure myself along the way to make sure that I am achieving the long-range goal. That's how definite it is. If I didn't have a clearly defined plan, if my only goal was to get in the car and drive somewhere, well, from Florida, you can go anywhere. You can go east and north and south, and a lot of places you can go. You can't get over the ocean. You go to the ocean, you stop. But there's a lot of places I can go from Florida, and if the only goal was to go, well, I can go lots of places. But if my goal is to get to Toronto, there are a limited number of ways for me to get there in the shortest period of time. Now, I can get to Toronto by going through Los Angeles from Florida. But that's kind of silly. It's kind of silly unless I'm on vacation. It's kind of silly if I want to get there in the fastest period of time. Unfortunately, a lot of people who have not charted their lives with a definite direction end up in the very same analogy. They want to get to Toronto, but they route themselves through Los Angeles. You want to remain positive in a negative world? Then you'll know exactly where you're going. You'll know exactly what to take. And you will not only take that direction, but you will maintain it, because you're going to stay focused on the accomplishing of a definite goal. So your first ability is to take and maintain a definite direction. The second ability is the ability to make adaptations in order to achieve the goal. The second ability that's necessary to remain positive in a negative world is to recognize that you're going to have to make adaptations. Adaptations in what, Cliff? Adaptations not in your attitude. No. Adaptations in what? Adaptations in the things you do. You see, what is being said here is not you adapt your goal. No, you adapt your behavior in order to accomplish your goal. The ability is to make adaptations not in the goal, but to make adaptations in your behavior in order to accomplish the goal. See, don't compromise your dream. Don't compromise your vision. Just because circumstances seem to prevent themselves, I'll tell you something, those who eventually arrive at greatness in whatever career they're in had to go through a lot of mud, had to climb out of quicksand bogs, had to climb over obstacles, had to in the darkest and the dampest and the bleakest of moments continue to believe in themselves that they can do it. They can do it. You can do it too. You can do it too. Make adaptations. Don't allow your circumstances to overwhelm you. Don't have yourself distraught with the idea that I'm never going to be able to make it and to look around and see the darkness. Look for the light. There is light in the darkness. Find it. Be excited about what still is possible, because dawn is coming. Take and maintain a definite direction. And then you need to make adaptations in order to achieve the goal. What is your goal? What is your dream? What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that's so important for you? Why would you compromise it? Do it. Just do it. The third ability was the ability to evaluate and correct oneself. And notice it's not just to evaluate. That's the easy part. Guys, that's easy. It's easy to evaluate who I am, what I am. That's easy. The most difficult is to change. To change. Never easy, but always essential. The easiest thing is to evaluate who I am and then say, gee, that's who I am. That's who I am. Not a thing I can do about it. That's who I am. No, it's not. It's not who you can become. And it's who you can become that this whole series is all about. You can become free from your past. You can become free from the obstacles. You can become free from circumstances to go on to reach your full potential in life. But you're only going to do it as you remain positive in a negative world. As you learn to allow others to hold you accountable. As you learn to accept the responsibility that is yours to do your job. As you learn to create a vision for yourself and for others around you, even in the midst of the storm and in the midst of the tensions and anxieties that seem to come your way. Well, what are your dreams? What is it you need to evaluate about yourself? What is it you need to evaluate about your circumstances? Just where are you? Well, this whole series, in pictorial fashion, has been like a lifeboat. I feel in many ways that what's happening here is that I'm on a lifeboat. And I remember well as a young boy when we sailed from Ireland to Canada, I remember the daily instruction that took place when we would have to go up on the deck and for 15 minutes we would have to once again listen to the drill, the safety drill. If something were to happen in the ocean, these are the lifeboats that will lower themselves, women and children first, into the boat. And we listened to that drill every day. You know, that picture never left my mind. Of course, the terror of the thought of it all being having to get into a lifeboat. I feel in many ways that this particular series is a lifeboat. The series has presented an opportunity for you to grow and to survive. And what I see is people who are drowning. And you know, there's a grief about that. The real grief is not the struggle that people are in, because I've been in that big swell myself. The real grief is when people are throwing a lifeline, throwing out the opportunity to survive and to hang on and to be pulled safely into the bowel of the lifeboat. You know, there are some people who don't want the lifeline. There's some people who are just pushing it aside. You know, you can only do it so often, see. You can only throw the lifeline so often to someone, and if they keep pushing it aside and do nothing with it, does the person in the boat then become responsible for the person who will drown? Not if they keep throwing the lifeline and it keeps being refused. Oh, there would be an incredible responsibility if someone was in the lifeboat seeing someone who was drowning and did nothing to help them. It would be an incredible responsibility then. But once the lifeline is being passed, once the lifeline is being tossed, and that keeps being refused, please don't refuse the lifeline. Please don't keep pushing it aside. You can become who you want to become if you're willing to embrace some of the principles that we've been talking about to you on a daily basis. I'm so excited. I wish I knew who you were. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited that you will really be able to put into practice the things which we've been sharing. And then to take them from there. We're only scratching the surface. We haven't gone that far or that deep. But we do know that you've been taught the principles of how to achieve your full potential and how to get the freedom that you so desperately desire in each and every area of your life. But remember, to do so you must remain positive in a negative world. Remember to take and maintain a definite direction. Remember to make adaptations in order to achieve your goal. Remember to evaluate and correct oneself. If you'll do that, you'll remain positive, and you'll be free. Please take responsibility today to not follow the line of least resistance. Take responsibility today to do the most productive activities you can to achieve your goal. And today, tell somebody what you want to accomplish. Tell somebody that you want to remain positive in a negative world. In fact, make it a creed to yourself. I will remain positive in a negative world. I will not look around me and see others who are drowning and not accept the lifeline. I will take and maintain a definite direction today. Yes, I will today. I will, in fact, make adaptations in order to achieve my goal, whatever they may be. I want my goal to become a priority, so I will make adaptations to achieve the goal. And then when it's all over, I will evaluate and correct myself so that tomorrow I'll even be stronger than I was today. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this series. And I hope you go back, review the material, review the tapes, and get involved in sharing it with family and friends and being involved in changing your life. I want to make you a promise. If you'll write to me on any topic, any point, I promise I'll respond to you. And if so, please just write to me on the address that's on the cassette. And I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thank you for being a part of it, and I wish you the very best in your quest for freedom. This is Clifford Baird saying goodbye.